started. Call meeting to order. With a salute to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get started this evening, we have an executive session we need to take in regards to personnel, appointment of an individual. Would like a motion to executive session?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Should only take about 10 minutes.
We just thought of it.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, let's get started. We'll start with the approval of prior town board minutes, June 2nd regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, Mary, I'm going to start with the clerk report, please.
Town clerk's report for June 2014. Dog licensing, $54.50. Building permits, $250. Certificates of occupancy, $50. Driveway permits, $50. Town clerk fees for community house donations, $100. Vital statistics, $67.50. Week house fishing license, $1.38. Total check for the general fund, $573.38. Trust and agency for inspection fees, $250. Total paid to the New York State Ag and Markets for dog surcharges, $17. New York State Department of Health for marriage license, $22.50. New York State decals for the fishing license, $23.62. For a grand total for June of $886.50.
Motion.
Accept the clerk's report.
Sorry.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'm sorry, who was the second? Bob?
Mail review. What do you have, Mary?
Not too much this month. The Office for the Aging, Columbia County Office for the Aging, is looking for volunteers to assist Medicare eligible seniors and disabled individuals in making informed decisions about which insurance best fits their needs. Training is available and hours are flexible. This would be to assist their staff that they do have that are able to do this. So if anyone is interested, they're at 325 Columbia Street in Hudson. Phone number is 518-828-4258. If you have time, they're retired, you have any knowledge of health insurance or enrollment, how to go about it, it would be helpful to them. That's everything I have.
That's it. I just want to point out an article I picked out of the Register Star. Actually, Cheryl reminded me, told me where to find this, but the six counties, towns make the top 50 affluent list. Very interesting article to find out that they took a look into 861 cities and towns in the 48 counties located in the 42nd parallel. And Clermont was ranked number 45 out of 861 towns. What they did is they took a list, this is 12-part formula calculated to make up this list. Business first used information from 5-year version on the U.S. Census Bureau 2012. And it says it included household incomes and values, as well as poverty rate, workers in management, business, science and arts, and percentage of adults with advanced and bachelor's degrees. And I thought it was very interesting to see that Chatham came in 10th on the list, Hillsdale was 12th, Austerlitz 18th, Canaan 24th, Clermont was 45th, and Gallatin came in at 50. So it's very interesting to see that a small town makes a list with such value. I was very impressed. It was in Saturday's edition, if anybody wanted to look it up. What was it? The 6th or 5th?
Yeah.
5th.
I didn't see that in the print edition.
It was on the online,
It's only on the, it's only on the online?
online version, yes.
So we'll be getting a lot of people
So
moving to
there's
town
stuff on
soon.
the online
Online.
version that's not in the print.
Yeah.
Right.
So, that was very nice. All right, correspondence for the web committee. Anybody have any recommendations, correspondence for the web committee? Ed, Evan, you have anything to add?
Not too much. Our domain name was up for its yearly renewal this month, and it's been renewed. Other than that, things have been quiet.
Good. Okay.
You pay for that, or is that something you-
I believe it comes free with the GTAL.
Okay.
Okay, Ed, any reports?
I don't have anything unless Mary volunteers all the new grant stuff, which we're very thankful for. Has any information? No? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bob?
Yeah, I'd just like to mention that the border for the swings has been put in and some of the fill inside. We have the material for the swings and the fall surface, and the next week or so, I think Jimmy will be digging the holes to put the swings in. The border was put in primarily by Stats Contracting. I gave a little help, but they did the heavy work. And so thanks for that donation. We also have a bill for the fall surface and the swings, and we'd like to specifically earmark the donation, the grants that we got from Hoover Foundation, Iroquois Pipeline, and the most recent Bank of Greene County donation, which comes up to $1,500, $250, for that, leaving $2,030 to be taken out of various other donations. But the reason for earmarking those three is because they have given it money to us specifically for that project, and in fact, one of them said that if it wasn't done and used within a year, they want it back. So we'll just get that in the minutes that we have used that money for that. The only other thing I came across an article that the courts upheld the no fracking laws in certain towns in New York State. And we've looked at that in the past. We had a meeting that we went to show the con side. We were supposed to have something for the pro side. We haven't seen that yet, but I think we ought to start thinking about that again, to pass a ban on fracking at some point. It's probably not coming to Clermont, but it would be good to have it just in case, rather than trying to play catch up if somebody ever does. Because I think from what I've seen, and I would like to see both sides.
Well, we do have Utica shale in here, which is much deeper, but
Okay.
it still contains gas. I mean, somebody may need one.
But from what I've seen, that heavy industry type of thing would not be very compatible with the rural town of Clermont.
Well, maybe not drilling per se, but using it for staging operations because of Route 9.
Well, that would ban that also.
Well, that's that's something to consider because a staging operation would be where they would park trucks with hydraulic fluid and fracking fluids in there and things, chemicals. So it's something that's a possibility.
And holding ponds and that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, they're more near the drilling site probably, but the chemicals and stuff. I mean, you never know. They might have it. I mean, we have a major truck corridor through here, so it's something that an education would be beneficial for the board and the town as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'll do is I'll reach out to Germantown, because remember they had the meetings for the...
Yeah,
content.
Boyd Brown was going to follow up with a pro.
Yep, and that never took place, but what I'll do is reach out to the new supervisor and talk to him and see if he's interested in putting something together, maybe do it as a joint town effort, and
I might have information there. I actually received a phone call from somebody in Western New York, that's a 718 area code, and it was an organization that supported drilling, and she wanted to come. I gave that information to Roy Brown a few years ago,
okay.
but it wasn't followed up. I'll see if I can dig that up.
All right, if you could, let me know, just shoot me an email, I'll certainly try to coordinate.
If I can find it. If not, I'll see what I can do.
And the last thing I'd like to mention, I don't know, you may have this in your report, really would like to recognize the highway guys for responding a week or so ago to help Livingston with some problems that they had during some washouts. We have intermunicipal agreements, and we've been the beneficiary of quite a bit of help in that, and it goes back and forth. This was the time that our guys responded, after hours, and I think you got a call from the Livingston supervisor thanking him for that.
Yes, I did. Yep, I was gonna touch base on that.
Okay, I won't say anymore.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
But I just wanted to recognize that. I think you guys do a great job, and working together with the three towns does save our town quite a bit of money.
Mhm. Absolutely.
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Evan, you have anything to add?
I just had the domain name, which was mentioned earlier.
Okay. Chris?
No, not unless you wanted to mention something on the community day.
Yeah, we could do that now. Last update I received about our Community Day barbecue is that it's going to be postponed this year due to lack of help and the fact that the person who heads this committee, and coordinates this whole event needs some personal time. She doesn't have the time to put into this like she does every other year, so it's going to be very difficult to pull something together this late in the stage without the help and support she needs. And we think we'll have to have an update on the website. We'll update next month. We'll be kind of last minute, but I still believe that the tractor pulls are still going to be on. They're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs served as a lunch thing, but there is not going to be a sit-down dinner. There's not going to be, the bouncy house is not going to be a tent set up to sit down and eat dinner. So it's going to be scaled way back to the tractor pull event, and I believe that's the latest information I've received. But again, we'll have to put that on the website and let everybody know as soon as we confirm that information. And again, we'll let everybody know next month, but it'll be a week before it actually happens. So we will certainly update as much as we can, and like I said, get on the website. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, move on to old business. On old business, we have another donation that came in right after our last meeting. The Bank of Greene County made another donation to the park swing set project for $250. I'd like to just point out that this is the second donation that's come from the Bank of Greene County. One was last year for $1,000, and this was another $250 to help us on our ongoing efforts to build up our park. So I'd like to thank them, and I did thank them, but I'd like to thank them publicly for their donation and support of our project, which we're glad to take any amount, and we certainly are happy to have them as a repeat donation. So, donor, appreciate it. A bridge update. Hey, I'm not tired of talking about the bridge, but we finally got the proposals back for the design services of our bridge from Mill Road. We may have a resolution coming as soon as Wednesday night to proceed with the design services for that bridge. We had 10 people respond to the RFP. We had, I'm going to say, a range of $50,000 to $250,000 just for the design service alone for the bridge. Obviously, the $250,000 is way out of whack. We're looking at the lower bidders to see, if it's a legitimate bid. The Commissioner of Public Works is taking care of that. He's going through the bids. And I believe he said he was hoping to have a resolution Wednesday night, which is our full board, to come before the board as far as approving which design service firm we're going to go with, and then it will be put out the design. And again, it's on the docket for next year as a project for next year. So it is on the county list of bridges to maintain and to replace. And once we approve that design service, we'll be looking at a date for next year, which is again, I'll say is county funded bridge replacement. So hopefully I'll come back next month and tell you it's on its way. Online tax bill. This is a discussion we've had for a couple months now. We've actually had the director of real property come down. We had our tax collector here last month or the month before, asking us to consider putting the town tax bills online. We've had a long discussion on this. We've waited out. I went back to the county after the last meeting to ask if there was any grant opportunities that would pay for something like this. She did respond to me that, I won't read what she said, but if there was any opportunities available, she would have already exercised those for the other 17 towns that have already put this online. So the answer is there is nothing that she can find that would apply and work to pay for this grant. Her to pay for this funding. So the initial cost is $794.37. That would be the first year cost to do this, and every year after that is $100. So if you look at it as far as the parcels within the town, it's under $1 per parcel for the first year for every tax dollar, for every taxpayer that owns a parcel in Clermont. And then going forward, every year after that, it's around 11 cents a year on your tax bill. We've had several discussions on funding, if we wanted to do this, if we didn't want to do it. Again, I think we still have some mixed opinions on the board. I'm not a huge supporter of this. I have different reasons for objecting other than the funding. But I've come to realize that, you know, our tax collector spends a lot of time trying to return calls, answer calls. I think Mary even gets brought into this because they call here looking for how to get a hold of the tax collector to find out things are paid. I do think it would be a big convenience for especially the tax collector. I'm sure it'll help Mary out, and I'm sure it would help others, which I don't really care about, which is the title companies and stuff. I mean, that doesn't bother me, but I'm open to the idea, and I'd like to bring it up to the board again to consider approving that we put this online. Do we want to have further discussion on this?
I'll stick with the no, that, you know, if it's mainly benefiting the title companies and real estate agents or banks, then they should be the ones paying for it instead of the people of Clermont. And I'm not opposed to it in principle, but I think that it shouldn't be paid for by people who don't have a lot of use for it.
Thank you for your opinion on that. That's obviously your opinion. I certainly understand, and that's your opinion. So we are the only town in the county at this point that has not signed up for this. And again, that doesn't really bother me at all either. But you know, again, I'm looking at it as helping out our tax collector and Mary. So
I think when we first brought this up, I may have proposed that we wait and look for some public feedback. And we've got very little, and the little bit that we got, I think, was either for it or neutral. So I don't know that there's anyone who strongly feels negative about it. So in light of that, I think I'll vote in favor of it since it's leaning slightly positive.
is that a motion?
That's a motion. Yes. We'll make that a motion.
We got a motion.
I'm not for it.
I'll second the motion and make my comments as comment on the motion. I also agreed with Chris initially that I wanted to table it, postpone it to see if we had any significant feedback from the public, which, as Chris pointed out, we do not. Either way, a couple people that have said anything to me have been, as Chris said, neutral or positive, that we should do it. We've done due diligence in looking for some extra funding. It is going to be on average about $1 per, or less than $1 per parcel. I mean, some of the big estates will pay a little more than $1, and some of the smaller places pay a little less than that. On average, it's $1 a parcel for the initial cost, and it will help some of our employees. So I would be in favor of it.
So that's a second.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree. I think we've exhausted this conversation, and at this point, I will support it as well. So do we want to have a roll call vote on that? Since we have two objectives.
No more discussion? Any more discussion? No.
I want to do a roll call vote on it.
Okay. Councilman Kale?
No.
Okay. Councilman Desmond?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Hempel?
No.
Councilman Gildersleeve?
Yes.
Okay. Supervisor Stats?
Yes. So resolution passed. Motion.
Motion is approved.
Okay, moving on to new business. Park Swings project. Bob updated that under the order is in, the stone is in. Moved along pretty nicely on that, and what he left out is I'd like to thank him because he was there for a day and a half, working just as hard as we were, and I appreciate that help as well. So I think it's coming along quite nicely, and now the next part of it is getting the highway guys, when they have time to fit in their schedule, to do the actual sonotubes for the swings, and then we'll be ready to lay the actual fall surface, which will complete the project. So it is moving along very nicely, and I think it'll be one of the nicest swing sets in the area when we're done, and I look forward to it. I want to bring up, because I've had this brought up to me by a couple people at this point now, the flag on the light pole on the ball field does not have a light on it. And obviously, as we all know, any flag that's left up should be lit. What I'd like to do is take a look at possibly looking for a solar powered light that we could put on that pole that would just put some light on the flag, because nobody's there to actually take it in and out and take it down. So I think that's our duty to make sure that happens. And I'd like to maybe ask Bob, if you, when you're looking through the stuff for playground stuff, is there any way you can take a look and see if we can find maybe a solar light that we could put in?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything in any of the catalogs.
I could probably, I'll look as well, but between the two, we'll find something, because I think we need to do that, so.
How about Rangers?
Jimmy's got catalogs, highway superintendent can probably find us too. I mean, he's got all kinds of Ranger catalogs, and, maybe he can look as well, but we'll coordinate something to find a suitable light that will actually light up the flag, I think, so.
Yeah.
I just want to bring that up because this is the second time it's been brought to my attention, and, it needs to be done, so, we will work on that. Okay, water system quotes. Last month, we talked about, a quote for the water system for getting an ultraviolet light put on the community house, which is the sole water source of a well that feeds all three buildings, the highway garage, the town hall, and the community building. We had one bid last month from Culligan that we considered. I brought up that we had one bid that we should go with the sole source on this. It was brought up to my attention that we should probably get a couple different prices. There is other people around. So what I did is I did call two other companies. Actually, I called one other company, got a quote from them, and then I said, well, let's get a third quote just to make sure. So we have three quotes here for installation of a water system. One, again, is from Culligan. The second one is from Clermont Pump Service. And the third is from Hart Water Conditioning. The bids came back with Culligan. We asked them to reduce, originally it was a 20 gallon per minute system. We wanted a 12 gallon per minute system because 20 gallons is just overkill. 12 is sufficient, and it's more than enough actually, so it's more than sufficient for what we need. But that is the safest, I think, and what I've been told for the amount of water that we're drawing for three buildings, that we should go with 12 gallons per minute. Culligan's total price, should I add these up? With a flow control alarm, which what happens is if the power goes out, the water will shut off, so the bacteria from the system cannot go through without the power being on, so the light will kill the bacteria. And it also has an alarm on it. And it includes also a cartridge pre-filter to take out any little bits of mineral, which is it's a 5 micron filter. But their total price is $1,978. It actually went up with the fact that we asked for the cartridge and the alarm. Clermont Pump System Services, their total price came back for a 12 gallon per minute with the flow control and the micron cartridge, $1,500. These all include installation, obviously. And the third one came back, did not quote 12 gallon per minute, which is what we were looking for, and it did not include the pre-filter. So that bid to me does not qualify, but that came back at $1,100 without the added additional water volume and the pre-filter. So at this point, we discussed it with the board. I feel that we should proceed with Clermont Pump Service, $1,500. That's a reasonable, acceptable bid, the lowest reasonable acceptable bid for what we bid. And we do have the money in our buildings account, which I don't have that number in front of me, but we budgeted in 1620.4. So I'd like to have a motion. We can
Make that
move
motion.
that to second Clermont.
What was the motion?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we've been, last couple months, several months, we've talked about the need for a zoning board alternate. The position's been vacant for quite some time. We've held interviews, we've interviewed 2 candidates. At this point, I'd like to make the appointment to Don Van Wagner for the zoning board alternate.
Someone.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Supervisor report. An update on the county situations. Let's see, the courthouse in the county is progressing. All the work has been completed, other than a few minor punch list items. Railings are completed, the exterior has been completed. I believe the parking lot has been completed at this point. The only thing we're waiting for is the windows that we approved for installation. They made a mock-up window for one of the windows so we could see what they looked like. Was sent the end of last month. I believe they've already made the approval and sent it in for production. That's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to produce these windows, and then they still are on target for a September finish date and installation. So as long as that happens, we're right on target for where we thought we'd be after we added the windows, and the project is it's on its final leg. It's a beautiful job. Anybody, obviously, hopefully there for the right reasons to go take a look at it. But I think it's something you do every 100 years or so. And it's really nice project that's coming to completion. Pine Haven, I don't know where to begin. Pine Haven's just, everything's full speed ahead, chugging along on the privatization. They put up the RFP. They are putting out the RFP for the sale, for bids for the sale of the home. Again, I've disagreed with this all along, but there's not a lot more I can say on this other than a lot of the information that's being put in the paper, you don't actually see the good information. I don't remember seeing that all the money that the county has lent Pine Haven is going to be paid back in full this year. They will absolutely have no subsidy owed after they make their final payment from the state reimbursement this year. I don't remember seeing that in the paper for some reason, but they seem to want to continue to print the negative issues that, yeah, we loaned Pine Haven money, they're losing money, but it seems to be very one-sided. I'm very discouraged with the way it's being handled. The numbers that keep coming out and being changed every time you hear them are being put out there to convince the public that it's time to sell it. I just disagree. So I can't say more, I can't say it enough. I hope that most supervisors really take a good look at this by the time that RFP comes back and come to their own conclusion and start looking at the real numbers to consider if we really want to go ahead and privatize this business.
But isn't it also true that some of the indirect expenses that are charged against the Pine Haven home will still have to be paid by the county if they sell, like a portion for the controller and a portion for this and a portion for that? That doesn't show up in the paper either.
There's a lot of information that's that's out there that yes, it's very hard to decipher through because you don't hear any of this. But a portion of the controller's salary is charged back to Pine Haven. A portion of the payroll services are charged back to Pine Haven. Those services aren't going to go away. The people are still being paid in the county. So yeah, you close, privatize, you're not getting rid of those costs. So they think, you don't hear a lot of that information. You don't hear that they're paying for the cell tower that's there. You don't hear a lot of this information that they pay for all the medical waste for human services and DSS and all that. That Pine Haven puts the bill for all of it. There's just so many things that that the public is not hearing, and it's unfortunate because it just makes you think when you hear what you're being told, and it's time to get rid of it. But
Yeah,
that's
good
not the case.
investigative reporter to do a story on it.
Yeah, well, maybe. So I'm going to continue shedding light on as much as I can through this process and keep everybody informed, as much as I can. The union, that was in the paper, the union came forward with possibly up to $500,000 with the savings that they're willing to put on the table to keep the home operating under the union's control, obviously, and under the county. That needs to be considered, and hopefully it'll be given a fair look. But again, I could go on for hours, but I'm going to leave it at that. Tax foreclosure sale. There's properties throughout the county we toured last month in regards to about 37 or 36 or something like that tax foreclosures that are up. As soon as the judge signs off, they will be being auctioned off in the county for sale. As back taxes are due, we put minimum bids on these properties. And we're just hoping to get these properties sold and back on the tax rolls so we can continue to collect the tax on these properties. So that will be coming up, it will be advertised when that sale will go through. And that's important because that's back money that the county is owed. So that'll help out with the tax information, or tax deficit. I was going to point out Livingston, there's not a lot more going on in the county that I have to report on, but Livingston, I do want to point out that they had a severe flooding issue, that large storm, where they did call and ask for assistance. Their backhoe was actually down for this that large storm. Their road up from 9G above Lenithco was washing out, and they said that they really could use some help, and Jimmy called in the guys. They took the backhoe, they took the trucks and loaded up, went up, helped them haul material and helped them save their road from being washed away. So just a perfect example of helping each other out. They've helped us out tremendously, and when they need something, we certainly don't mind helping them out. So maybe this was 12 o'clock, 10, 12 o'clock at night, I believe. At some point they were out that late, so it was certainly after hours, and I appreciate our guys helping them out. And I did receive a call from the supervisor of Livingston thanking us, and I said, well, thank the highway guys, but yeah, you're welcome. We'd do the same. Hopefully you do the same for us. I'm sure he would. But he did call thanking us for the assistance, and he was very grateful. So that's a great thing that we can rely on our neighboring towns to help out when needed. I already mentioned the barbecue. Again, we'll keep everybody updated as soon as we have the latest agenda and information on that. Again, I want to thank the donation from the Bank of Greene County. Certainly appreciate that any donation we can receive, especially a multi-year donation, return donation, and the highway guys again for their help. They spent some time and hauling material and doing a nice job on it so far. So we can't forget them. They was do above and beyond their job description. Other than that, that's about all I have. Move on to motion to pay abstracts.
You big one.
Anybody?
Move that we pay general abstract number 7, vouchers number 164 through 205 in the amount of $27,823.72.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion that we pay highway abstract number 7, numbers 67 through 82, for the amount of $21,514.85.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, we're on to public communication. Comments to the board? Any public comment? Want to stand up there, sir, please?
I don't know the details, I don't know any of the details, but the person who used to run the volunteer program and helped with the barbecue, I'm sure she's feeling bad that she can't do it. That's how hard she works. And so I don't know, I'm sure the board has thanked her in the past, but I think it would be good to thank her even again, because she really has done a lot of hard work and kept things going for a long time. It does raise the issue that for decades, volunteers has helped her put things on that pulled the community together. And it's been harder and harder to have volunteers. So I don't know whether there needs to be some discussion at some point on what do you do if you're not able to get volunteers anymore. What do you do? Because those, like the barbecue, was a nice event, but it took a lot of volunteer work. And I'm not sure what we do with that at this point. But she certainly deserves all our thanks. She worked very hard.
Absolutely. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you for your comment. Any other public comment? Sure. If you could just step over there, sure. Thank you.
Well, I apologize for what I'm about to do, because I'm going to ask about the Mill Road Bridge.
Okay.
And first I'll explain why I'm here and why I'm asking. I live on the Livingston side of the bridge, although part of my property jumps the creek and I pay a little bit of taxes here in Clermont too, but when I go to town meetings, I go to the Livingston meetings. And the bridge hasn't come up in the Livingston meetings in about a year, I would say. And never were we aware that this was going through. And I only learned recently because I happened to see a couple of the engineers poking around the bridge there. And since they were on my property without my permission, I asked them. So they told me a little bit about it. But then I learned that it's been coming up here for a long time and you're tired of talking about it. So basically, I'm curious to know, well, frankly, I'm somebody who's much happier without the bridge, both for my own personal selfish reasons, but also as a concerned taxpayer who is not convinced yet that the benefits of that bridge are going to justify the cost. So I just wanted to ask, was there ever any opposition here in Clermont to the bridge? And also maybe was there ever any formal presentation of the pros and cons of reactivating the bridge or anything like that?
To answer part of that, we have had some opposition. Some people on the road it's probably close to split, about 50-50 want it open, 50% don't. More so the people outside of the road are the ones that want it open. Obviously the users more, but there has been, issues from the Traffic Safety Board. They've issued a letter saying they think it's a safety hazard. There's no real room for a turnaround, especially on the Clermont side.
Yeah, you've got
it's all private property. You have more room on the other side. The safety issues with the farm equipment, the emergency vehicles is what they're talking about. Going down the main road where everybody's doing 60 miles an hour instead of going across the called a shortcut. But so there has been discussion. There has been, like I said, feedback from both interested, for and against it. But the majority of the people that I've talked to and heard were outside of the road. Of course, the road matters, but the users, and from your side too, Livingston, a lot of people in Livingston said, when are you going to get this open? Obviously they like you to go across that road. So to answer part of your question.
There also are some safety issues that have been discussed. We in Clermont and some other towns try to discourage dead-end roads, because if you get a problem on one end and you need an ambulance there, it's hard to get it in.
I understand.
And so we do discourage dead-end roads, and this makes 2 dead-end roads with a bridge out, a bridge that's been there for many, many years. There also was a time, I don't remember personally, but I know Charlie Larson used to talk about it, that when there was a bad snowstorm and that was the only way to get to Germantown, because the other roads were closed and they were able to get across that. So there are safety issues, and that's why I think the county planning board and safety board has also recommended it be open.
Well, I didn't come here to argue against it or all that's great information.
No, but you asked if there was,
yeah,
there
right.
been some discussion, there has.
Yeah, we had very little in those. I don't know why. But, and I think the people who were opposed to it just kept their mouth shut because they were happy to see that nothing was happening. But, so, I was gonna say one other thing. Oh, heck, I lost it.
Not to interrupt you, but the previous supervisor, Supervisor McDonald,
Yep.
we've had long discussions, and he told me he had a lot of people complaining to him about it. So I don't know, maybe the new
Complaining that it was
supervisor, that
closed.
they wanted it open, yeah. But that's why we together, and Roy Brown used to be the supervisor of Germantown before it changed, we all collectively have been pushing this issue because it's been supported by many, opposed to the few that are opposed to it,
There was also some issues with some of the agricultural farmers that, like to go across there to get from one field to another.
Yeah.
So it's supporting
I
agriculture.
understand, there are arguments for it.
Yeah.
There are arguments against it too. But the other thing I was gonna say, oh God, I remembered, no, I lost it again.
Sorry.
Interrupt.
Yeah. Oh, I know. So if it's going ahead, then will there be a chance for the public to have anything to say about the configuration of it? How wide, speed limits, speed bumps?
Probably not. What's been proposed is that it's going to be replaced with an in-kind bridge, similar. It's not going to be a main bridge, 2-lane. It's going to be a similar bridge, 1-lane bridge. It's not going to widen, destroy the mouth or anything. It's not going to change a lot. So it's going to be basically replacing what's there.
Right.
So it's not going to be turned into a super highway bridge or anything.
If you were going to make it 2 lanes, you'd have to replace the abutments,
Right.
and so that would be much more
Well, I
expensive.
wouldn't want it to make 2 lanes.
No.
I don't-
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, but that's part of keeping the cost down also.
Yeah, of course.
And one of the other issues we have on our side, which is a little more, that's why we probably had more discussion about it, is, you know, our school buses won't go down that road, they stop at the end, where your road will go down, turn around right at the end there.
Yeah.
So, you know, we do have a little more, I would say, concerns about the safety issues and transportation
Yeah,
issues.
it's safer for the Red Hook bus to have the bridge closed.
Right.
Because they've always made that three-point turn, and now that they don't have traffic coming from both directions, it's safer. Well, anyway, I didn't come here to take so much.
No, I'm glad for your comments,
appreciate that.
we're happy to talk about it, but we've had a lot of discussion on this, and like I said, we've had quite a bit of feedback, and,
Yeah.
you know, so we appreciate you.
Okay, well, I'm glad I came and asked.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Would you like to state your name for the record?
It's Michael Hamilton.
Mary usually likes to get the name.
Yeah, I recognize them from.
Being neighbors.
They didn't ask for my name because they know it too well. They
No, we didn't ask you if I knew.
Any other comments? Public comments? No? At this point, any other board? No? Okay, at this point, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Thank you.